Gemini, different ass niggas. Just be on my shit. All kind of shit going on. My brother doing 30. I gotta do something out here. Something different out here. You already know. Nigga really is from the block though. But you ain't never heard shit like this from the block before. Top down. Top down.
All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's July 14th. We're in the middle of the month of the first month of the new quarter, right? And so far, we've made some pretty phenomenal moves, right? In crypto, especially. I think yesterday was a pretty pronounced day for altcoins, BTC, and specifically XRP because of their ruling that they had from the SEC, right? Which ripped XRP all the way from the low of almost 46 cents all the way up to a high of 93 cents. I think all in all, that was like a net, like 100% plus move. XRP is obviously settling down now, closer to 77. It banged right into this key level that I had mapped out, and I let members know about this level yesterday around 81, 82 cents. So the point is that, XRP has now shown us that, it led the way for the market yesterday with a big sort of, turnaround decision. Right. And you could kind of go to my Twitter feed. Where did I talk about this? If you go on my Twitter feed somewhere, I think somewhere you should be able to find it. The XRP decision about the SEC, pretty much, maybe not necessarily wanting to classify it as a security for now. And that gave a big sort of pop to the rest of the market. It lifted the entire market with it. BTC yesterday put in a nice upwards move of about 3.5–4%. We are now settling in BTC above this range high right here where we've struggled to stay above. So let me go to the 2-hour time frame so you could see, right? So you could kind of see that this is really the level, first of all, number one and number two, right? These two levels, price has not been able to stay above. And finally, BTC kind of smashed through both these levels just yesterday, ripping through a bunch of short positions. We saw a lot of open interest die down yesterday. So that was probably, more than likely the shorts just getting eviscerated, right? And now Bitcoin is actually sitting above this key level right here, which is around 31 flat and just tight under 31.4. I think that if we can maintain this level right here, 31, we should be making our way towards 32.5. Now, after that, do we sell off further and break down, or do we just, chop our way up higher? I'm really not sure, to be honest. I was kind of talking and asking questions yesterday just because the move yesterday, yes, it is well overdue, right? Like I think crypto has been pretty heavily battered over the last several months, and good news like XRP that lifts markets across the board in crypto is a good thing. And I'm not going to fight it, and I'm not going to challenge it. I'm going to accept it. However, as we look at the market, right, I do want you to bring your attention to something, okay, which is that yes, Ethereum and Solana, which put up massive moves yesterday, and Matic and INJ now, yes, they put in substantial moves, right? I get it. But guess what? We are still bang on right into key points of resistance, and we swept some of that liquidity from April or May earlier this year. As you can see, ETH came in at this high. So if we look at this high of 2020, right? Oops, let me put that over here. Okay. 2020 right there. That's the high that we had left behind here in May, early May. We came back, swept it here in mid-July, right? So 2 months later, we've kept, banging on the door of the short sellers who sold off price here and here, and now we've taken out a good chunk of short liquidity. Okay, now where do we go from here? Well, like I said, we dropped a bunch of good news about XRP yesterday, and that gave us the nice pop that we got in crypto markets. Now the question is that pop sustainable, or was this like a one-day thing where we do this and we start either mean reverting back down or just selling back down now that maybe everybody is baited and trapped here, and all the sellers that needed to get out and sell, maybe they've sold, and the buyers are just not capable of breaking levels like this. And this is not just Ethereum, it could be, say something like Solana, right? And by the way, if you're a part of our Advantage community, there's a bunch of positions that I had made aware to the community that I picked up. Number one is Unibot, which was 27th of May. Okay, so I picked up a little bit of a position in Unibot. Back then, prices were about 17 bucks. Prices are now $50 to $54, depending on which pair you're trading on. So from 17 and some change to where we are now, that's a good 200% move that we've made so far, right? So that's a substantial move that I've captured in Unibot. Okay. I had a position building in Solana spot since 1970 as an average position. Okay, I cut some yesterday at $24.50, approximately $25 actually, and then I closed some of the position at 27. I had left a limit order. Okay, so that was a 37% move. So first, closing out some at a 24% move. Next, closing out at a 37% profit. And then finally, letting go of the entire position, the remaining 0.5% capital at close to about 29 to 30 bucks up here. Okay. Now, where is Solana? Solana is close to trading at 28 bucks. Okay. So why did I close out that position? Again, simply because of what I was talking about earlier. If the XRP news is really a shift in market conditions and we're going to head on up for the next several months, we should start seeing somewhat of a base, form above key levels like this. Meaning, for Solana, we should not really start breaking back inside 27, 25. We can chop here and then start grinding our way up higher, and that's fine, but we do not want to start closing back inside 25. That would mean that this was a big move, and yes, it's substantial, but it doesn't mean that it is sustainable, and we may start breaking down because the sellers are too strong and the buyers are really just not there. Okay, again, I'm not trying to be pessimistic about it. I'm just giving you an alternative viewpoint on the market because I was already long and I am going to capture the profit that I made, but I'm not going to just sit here and blindly say, well, now we need to make another 50% move higher, right? How much of a move is that? Like my next big target is about 48, 50 bucks, right? So that's a 70% move higher. I don't know if we're going to just go straight up like that. Okay, you may have some base being built out here. You may have, again, the potential of the market, maybe not ready to break out, maybe it breaks back down. I don't know. So these are the possibilities that you want to keep in mind. Same thing with crypto, or same thing with BTC. If BTC starts breaking back inside 31, starts rolling over, well, that's not good, right? That means that this was a short squeeze and we're not able to just break up higher, and we're just going to start breaking back down, in which case the next big target is 29K, all right? And maybe even lower, okay? Same thing kind of goes for Ethereum, like I said, right? Banging to this level, if we start pulling back down like BTC, okay, ETH breaking back inside 1950 means doors are open till 1850, 1860. After that, 1775, and then all the way down to 16 or 1500, if that happens. Okay, if not, then like I said, maybe we just come back, retest these levels. That's a buying opportunity, and boom, we target 2150, and then we target 2275 up here. Those are the next big levels for Ethereum. And for Solana, like I said, I think it's very possible that we go to 50 bucks next. $50 to $60 is probably the next big target. But the way this move was made, a substantial rip up, movements like this are not sustainable. You have to pull back, build a base, and then start making your leg up higher. So you will get an opportunity. Okay. So, don't get trapped into thinking you have to be buying now. Another one of my favorites, INJ, coming into the high here of approximately $10. Let's just say, right, 997. Okay, so pretty close to $10. Yeah, so INJ is pretty darn close to that $10 level. All right, so all these alts are coming into key levels of resistance where there's likely a lot of sellers, and you have to then look out what is the potential for markets to maybe sell this thing back down, if at all. And if so, how do you start de-risking? Like I said, I closed out my Solana spot position because I'm just going to wait. I captured a big move. And I'm not just going to sit here and say, well, we have to move 70%, straight up from now, right? Let a base build out, let markets consolidate. Let me start seeing key levels retested, and then I'll get back in. Okay. All right. So we talked about Unibot. The other position that I want to talk about is RLB, right? Rollbit is another thing that I talked about before. I don't necessarily use the platform, but I do think that it's pretty darn good from what I've heard from people. It's probably addicting, almost like a casino. So again, not investment advice, but if something is fun and exciting and almost addicting to people, that's probably the thing that you want to bet on. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use Rollbit, but you can kind of gauge the interest of other people and say, all right, well, this might be a token that I want to be looking into. So captured a little bit of Rollbit yesterday at 0.7 flat. So currently up, let me see, just from here to about here, about 12% on the position. Okay. Still think it can, have its way move up to 0.1 somewhere up here. I think that's relatively easy. But yeah, I think the only issue is here with Rollbit, there is just a lot of coins that big players have that they can just keep selling onto the market. So that really dilutes the potential value of Rollbit coin, but doesn't mean that Rollbit itself is not a useful product, right? So I think that's my only sort of caveat or issue with it. Okay. Other aspects of the market, like I said, INJ, the AI coins are trying to get off the ground, maybe Fetch, something you want to be watching. This one is putting in a W bottom, double bottom, whatever you want to call it. I think if it starts shifting away from here, I think it's game on, right? Game on to next big level for me is up here. Oops. Let me mark this out for you guys so you can see. Okay, that's probably the next big level for Fetch. Same thing with Ocean, right? I think Ocean is another one of those AI coins. AGIX, GRT. So these are the next, AI coins that you want to be watching. We saw some movement in things like ARB yesterday, nothing special. OP, same thing. Those are your crypto, Ethereum L2s. LDO, kind of also moving. This was one of my favorite picks, like somewhere back here. What was it, like mid-May or early May? Didn't really pan out, kind of still range bound. But if it starts doing well, who knows? It can really break out and show wonders. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Nothing else really special. I've talked about, one of my issues with the market, which is that if you look at something like sushi, which is, clearly just basically round trip the entire move that we put in 2020, bottom down here, we basically for the last 2 years have been just going straight down. Right. So the straight bleed in sushi is a signal and a sign for further bleed to come for some of these alts like AVAX. I think AVAX can also bleed another half a year, 1 year, all the way down to pretty much $2 or $3. I think that's the big risk that you want to be paying attention to in these crypto markets and these crypto assets. Never underestimate the ability for these markets to bleed out further and further and further. Okay. So, I think a lot of these L1 ecosystems, DEXs, tokens that are really just kind of pointless, or just, held by VCs a lot and they're continuously dumping. That's where you want to be careful in the market. Polkadot is another example of how it basically retraced the entire 2020 pump, right? Matic is also pretty darn close. I think Matic back here in June retraced a bunch of its pump in April or March 2021. But I think it started off, I think, less than like 10 cents down here in 2020. If you look at a longer term chart on Matic, let me see. If we go to Binance, Binance. Let me see where I can find it. Okay, maybe. Yeah, there it is. So, the accumulation for Matic back in 2019-20 was between 5 cents and down to less than a penny, right? It's possible that this thing bleeds out further and further, close to that, pump that we witnessed in 2020 and 2021, which was down here around 4 to 5 cents. I know it seems very unlikely, but just remember that crypto markets, especially these assets that are duplicates of other ecosystem, are really not, showing the numbers to justify their market caps. They can bleed further. And in my opinion, today of all days is probably the best day to start unloading some of these garbage assets, because you're trying to exit a pump, a pump of things that have irrationally gone up 10, 20, 30%. And that's your potential exit. You never know if you're going to get another one for the next, 3, 6 months, 1 year. Okay? Again, this is not investment advice, just another alternative view on the market. All right. Meme coins have really not done a lot. Maybe Pepe is ready to take off, but personally, again, I personally think Pepe is just going to keep bleeding down. Same thing with, Wojak and all these other random altcoins. So that's my overall view. But again, I'm pretty open to, oh, here's SNX popping off. SNX just took off over the last few hours, up about 33%. Yeah, my overall view on the market is, just wait and see. Hopefully this is a turning point in crypto, where you start seeing, huge continuous rips in the market, good assets start to go up, but I'm really not sure, right? So wait and see. Things that I've talked about, listen to Lucas's podcast here, Chat with Traders. It is here in the official announcements tab. This is another good interview with CL. You can find Lucas's interview right here. He's the short bear on Twitter, really smart guy. Talks about how he made his stratospheric returns, how he learned to trade properly, stop making mistakes, how to compound gains, etc. All the topics and timestamps are here. Other than that, that's pretty much it. You have this big thesis report from CoinGecko, and then also what Ryan Selkis wrote about 2023's thesis of the new emergence of different cryptos and different narratives, etc. So lots of cool stuff coming out in terms of knowledge. And then this is another thing that's going on right now, which is the crypto gathering. In this video from yesterday, Jeff Dorman, Chris Sullivan, Richard Gavin, and Ash Bennington talked about, where exactly is crypto? Is a game on? How are the hedge funds positioned, et cetera, et cetera. So lots of really cool stuff for you to absorb your knowledge on and do more homework, and not get caught over trading or high leverage trading, et cetera. Okay. All right. Good luck, everybody. Take care. Cheers.